Hi friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here to share a reading vlog with you, and it's probably not the reading vlog you were expecting, and I apologize for that. I have been having the worst luck finding stuff that I am interested in, and I'm not really sure why. I've picked up a couple of popular books lately. That didn't really work. I picked up some books from the library. Those didn't work. So I'm trying something new, and yesterday I purchased Dear Sweet Pea by Julie Murphy at Target. This is a middle grade story. I don't typically read middle grade, but it's nice and short, and I love Julie Murphy's writing. It's like funny, well written. There's deeper meaning behind stuff. She features plus size main characters. There's diversity. There's just great cute storytelling elements, and this is what I'm in the mood for, I think. So I'm gonna be reading Dear Sweet Pea. So it's Friday night. It's 6:30 p.m. And my original plan was to check in before I even started and kind of tell you what the book was about. But I've already started it because I'm so in the mood to read something, because I just haven't been reading stuff that I've been interested in, and I'm missing it so much. So I jumped into this. I'm on page 37. And what I also love about this is the little chapter headers. I have little illustrations at the top, and it's just giving me life. So I'm definitely going to get through this fairly quickly. I would love to finish this tonight. That would be amazing, and then we could pick up something else this weekend. I do have a few plans because I'm off for a couple of days, and I need to go shopping for a winter jacket, possibly some boots. And I have some like things for work to work on, but I plan on like relaxing, cozy up in bed, curling with a great blanket. I'm making some sweet potato fries for dinner. Those are in the oven right now. How delicious do those look? I guess I should tell you what it's about. So we follow our main character, Sweet Pea. Her parents recently have been divorced, and I guess her mom was living like in their main house, and the father was living in this like motel. But then on the same street where their mother lived, there's like the mom's house, a neighbor, and then this house like 2 doors down came available. And now the father has moved into that. They think it's going to be better for Sweet Pea because they're 2 doors down from each other, and now she can divide her life easier between the two mother and father's house, and they're like splitting days. Like 1 week mom gets 3 days and dad gets 4 days, and then the next time mom gets 4 days and dad gets 3 days. And Sweet Pea's not really feeling it, because especially because the dad is trying to make his house look so much like the mom's house. But where it comes into play with a neighbor in between, there's this mysterious neighbor. What's her name? Flora May. And she's this older lady who writes for, I guess, like a newspaper or something like that. But she does the advice column. Like back in the day, Dear Abby, she kind of does that. And Sweet Pea's always been intrigued by this article. She's read it ever since she could read. It's kind of like her family's thing. They used to read it at the breakfast table and like respond and then listen to what Flora May would say. And suddenly Flora May has to go out of town for something, and she asks Sweet Pea to kind of like be the go-between for the letters. She recognizes the handwriting on one of the envelopes, and what she decides to do with that letter sets off a chain of events that will forever change the lives of Sweet Pea DeMarco, her family, and many of the readers of Miss Flora May. Good morning, friends. It's Saturday morning, and that's why I look like this. So I started Sweet Pea, and I'm loving it. I can't imagine giving this less than 4 stars at this point. I do have one little gripe, which I'm going to wait until the end when I do my little wrap up about this book to tell you about. I am currently on page 161, So I'm already past the 50% mark. I'm just loving this so much, and there's so many potential ways that it could go from here. And now I just have my coffee and I want to read. So I'd like to finish this book like this morning so I can contemplate my next move. I have a problem when I get close to finishing a book. I start thinking about, well, what am I going to read next? And I'm trying not to do that, especially since I've DNF'd like so many books lately. Okay, I'm back in bed, super cozy here. I have my coffee and I just put on my favorite chapstick, which is this Burt's Bees Vanilla Bean. It's so moisturizing. It smells so good. Move that right over there. Like I said, we're already here. I love the little illustrations at the top. They do seem to repeat, but I'm enjoying it nonetheless. Guys, I have really good news. I just finished Dear Sweet Pea by Julie Murphy, and I was absolutely right. There's no reason for me not to like fall in love with this book. I'm rating it 4 out of 5 stars, and I told you before that there was one thing that really stood out that was like the negative, and I'm gonna go ahead and talk that, but I need to change my battery and then I'll jump back on and talk to you about this book. Like I said, I just finished reading Dear Sweet Pea and I really enjoyed it. I don't often read a lot of middle grade, but I really think this can be enjoyed by like YA readers. So some things in here are kind of, you know, like if you're our age, it's definitely more towards middle grade readers. So there's some things kind of like drawn out or spelled out that you don't really need unless you're like a middle grade reader. So I think it touches on a lot of good things that students and kids this age need. So Sweet Pea is nearing the end of 7th grade, about to go into 8th grade. Her best friend Oscar and her ex-best friend Kira. So it's so like heartfelt and so sweet, and like I said, it has to do with like an advice column, and that's something that I like really liked. Was it that believable? Not really, but some things were like not believable, but it is a fictional story and you can kind of just get swept up into it, which I loved. Okay, so the one gripe I have about this book is I love the diversity, but sometimes I feel like people's physical appearance was overly explained. I like knowing what main characters look like. So I like knowing what Sweet Pea looks like, maybe Kira and Oscar. But I don't need to know what every other student in the 7th grade class looks like. And there was just lots of explanations of that, that they were like Hispanic, or their skin was dark like midnight, or what their hair looked like. Kira stands next to her mom at the front of the classroom, doling out cupcakes and going out of her way to give the best ones to the other pretty girls, like Alyssa, who was tall and willowy, and Samantha with her curly golden hair. Miss Bryant is a petite black woman who wears her hair cut into a short pixie style. Kira gets her height from her dad, who is a tall white man with sandy-colored hair and sun-tanned leathery skin from years spent outside in the oil fields. So she just goes on to explain, like, all of the adults, all of the teachers, all of the students, and I just think it's overdone. Like, we get it. You have a cast of diverse characters, and I think we get that from the main characters, that we don't need every other student explained. There are LGBT characters in here. There's one named on the page, and then there is a possible, we never get like an explanation of that. I would absolutely love a follow-up to this story. So Julie Murphy, if you're thinking about it, please do it. I would love it. So that's why I'm giving it 4 stars, just because I think that it was a little overdone. It was a little in your face as far as like, you know, bodily explanations, descriptions, and I didn't think it needed that. So other than that, absolutely wonderful, highly enjoyed, highly recommend. So I don't know what I'm gonna read next, but I finished this one, so that's very exciting. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready and go out with my husband to the LL Bean store, look for that winter jacket, maybe a couple of other things, and then when I get home, I'll pick up my next read. Update, I'm home, I'm tired, I pulled a muscle in my back. We went to breakfast to Metro Diner. I had French toast, I had some onion rings with ranch dressing, I had a chocolate milk. It was a big crazy meal, but it was delicious. I did bring some of my French toast home because I could only eat 2 slices. After that, we came home for a quick little break, went back out, went to the LL Bean store, and in a crazy turn of events, I couldn't find anything. I tried on a pair of boots, didn't like them, tried on 2 jackets, didn't fit very well, and so then we came home, and I'm just kind of feeling like crap right now because my back hurts, and I'm trying to stay positive this weekend. I still have 3 days to find a jacket, hopefully. I'm gonna shop online. I know LL Bean has extended sizes online, and also they have, I'm thinking about looking at Patagonia. But anyway, I came home to some book mail. This was sent to me unsolicited by a company that sends out books. You kind of sign up for like what type of books you like. I don't get a lot of like well-known titles from them. They're more of like Christian titles by Thomas Nelson, like publishing house. So this is Colleen Coble, Strands of Truth. This is her newest novel, and it's like suspense meets romance, and I've never read one of her books before. I always tend to put them off and then decide to get rid of them, and then I get the second one, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I should have read the first, but I've already gotten rid of it. This is a standalone, it looks like, so that would be really cool. So I think this is gonna be like in a turn of events my next read. It's called Strands of Truth, and I don't know anything about it because, like I said, it was sent to me unsolicited. Okay, I'm in bed. I'm thinking of starting this. I've already read a couple of pages, but I'm kind of tired as well, so I might nap. The prologue was set January 1990 in St. Petersburg, Florida. Makes me miss Florida. And that was a couple pages. And I think this is where I am. Yes, page 7. So, not that far into it, but I'm making progress already. And I think the nap is going to pull me in. Got some cheese and crackers and coffee and my book, and I've only read 28 pages because the nap took me how I knew it would. So far it's a slow start, but they finally mentioned the DNA test, and a couple of things have gone down, so I think it's going to start getting good. We shall see. Hey friends, I want to check in very quickly and give you an update for Sunday. It's Sunday night. It's 8:49. I haven't checked in all day. That's because I really haven't done a lot of reading. I had to film a couple of videos for my channel. So I filmed my Is It Worth the Hype for Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. I also filmed my Buzzwordathon TBR. Those are going to go up on Tuesday and Thursday. So I spent some time filming those, editing those, and doing a couple of other things, but I did want to update you on my reading of Strands of Truth. I am currently on chapter 10, page 72, going strong. I also wanted to show you these Sprout bookmarks that my husband got for me. I've always admired these bookmarks. You can basically use them like this or like this, and he got these for me, so I think that's so sweet of him. Finally have those. Good morning, friends. It's Monday the 11th. It's Veterans Day, so happy Veterans Day to any veterans out there. If you have any in your family or anything like that. I'm a veteran myself. Most of my uncles are veterans. My dad's a veteran. My husband's parents, his dad was a veteran, his mom is a veteran. So we have lots of ex-military in both of our families. His brother is a veteran, and yeah, so thank you to all the vets out there and all the active duty military for what they're doing for us. I'm gonna make some coffee. Today we are going over my mother-in-law's house, but I'm also hoping to actually read some more. And I did read before I went to bed last night. I think I just got my book wet. I did read before I went to bed last night, so I will let you know where I am. I'm currently on page 130. So if I like buckle down, I could read the rest of this today. I don't know if that will happen or not. I haven't really told you a lot what this was about because I just received it unsolicited. But now that I've read like 130 pages, I could probably give you a good synopsis. So it's about our main character, Harper, who is, it takes place in Florida. And there was a lot of shell, mollusk, things going on. She's doing these pin shells. She's planted this bed in the ocean, obviously. And she's doing it for several different reasons. For the meat so she could sell, and then she wants the silk and the pearls so she could sell, but also like use for fiber art. And then there's like some other people that are involved in like shells and the shell business. One character wants to use them for like medicinal purposes and find cures for things. And then his father like has opened this laboratory and wants both of these people to like work there. But Harper basically doesn't know who her father is, and her mother was killed I guess there was an accident, like she was driving, her brakes were cut. It kind of tells that story a little bit, but and then she's rushed to the hospital, but she was pregnant with Harper, but Harper survived and the mother didn't. So her mother died basically like during childbirth, and she doesn't know who her father is, and she's always been searching for him. But then her mentor, Oliver, Oliver Jackson took her under his wing, but his son, Ridge, is the one that like has always been like at odds with Harper, because Harper like basically got all their dad's attention, because I guess he has a sister too. Rich has a sister, so it's kind of confusing. I know it sounds weird, but so they've always kind of been like butting heads, but now that they're going to be working at the laboratory together, like they're trying to make things work. But in the meantime, Harper all of a sudden finds that she has this DNA match. Her friend Sarah finds that she has this half sister, so she goes to meet her half sister, and she's much older than Harper, which she wasn't expecting. And she knows like it's not her mom, so it's obviously they're connected by their dad. But Sarah doesn't know, or the girl, I forget her name, Annabelle doesn't know who her father is either, only her mother. And she knows that she was this mermaid who worked at this like one place. So they're kind of investigating, but in the meantime, Harper's been attacked twice. Then Annabelle gets attacked or kidnapped, and Oliver, her mentor, was attacked. Like all these attacks are happening. So it's like, and you get the voice of different people throughout here, so you're getting the voice of whoever is attacking these people, but you just don't know who it is. So you definitely want to know who it is, why they're doing it. And I think it's because like Annabelle's father probably did both of the moms off. I don't know why, but anyway, so I'm not going to say it's like immediately pulling me in, just because it is kind of confusing. And there's just a lot going on, and there's a lot about the shells and stuff like that. So I don't know, would I recommend it? I guess if you're into shells, or like if you live in Florida and you just want to hear, because it talks about like Clearwater and Tampa and Dundon, and I think that's the place that it's called, but I lived in Florida, so that's kind of cool to see different places in Florida mentioned and stuff like that. But it is kind of confusing a little bit, and it tells you things from the past and things from the future or the present, and it's in the same chapter. They're just like dividing the chapter. I don't know. So anyway, I'll give you my final thoughts or more thoughts as I read through it, but yeah, it is kind of confusing. Okay, update. I'm on page 152, and one thing that I will say about this is that things are very convenient for, I'm not going to say the killer because he hasn't killed anybody, but he's definitely tried to. Things are very convenient, and the killer, or whatever, the antagonist, is just getting away with everything, and it's so convenient how he can sneak around and do these different things when I think normally probably wouldn't be able to happen. Also, I wanted to mention, I think I mentioned this when I got it, that Colleen Coble has written a ton of books, you guys. And by a ton of books, I'm going to show you a list. A ton. I don't understand. Also, I wanted to mention that she does use a lot of modern day references in her books, so that does date it in the long term, but with as much as she's writing, I just don't think that matters. And it doesn't bother me, but maybe if I read this 20 years in the future, or, you know, I picked it up 20, 30 years from now, I'd be like, what are they talking about? Friends, I'm here with an update. Let me let it focus. Hi friends, I'm here with an update. It's 3:11 p.m. on Monday, and I'm currently on page 199, so I just have this to go. And we just got home. We had to do some work at my mother-in-law's house. We went grocery shopping, so I'm going to put this stuff up, get something to eat. I got my new boots. Sorry, I don't know why it's autofocusing problems. I got my boots from Amazon. I'm gonna try those out, and then I'll probably like grab a drink and read. So just letting you know, making progress, but I haven't been reading because I just got home, and I'm still hoping to finish. Yay, I'm here with my final update. I completed the book Strands of Truth by Colleen Coble. It was my first Colleen Coble novel, and overall I enjoyed it. I'm rating it 3 out of 5 stars. I'm not rating it any higher because of a couple of different things. I think I touched on a couple of things as I was reading. The first being that the beginning was really slow, and there were definitely slow parts throughout the book, mainly the beginning, but there were others as well. Also, this is a Christian fiction book publishing company, Thomas Nelson, and there was like no mention of anything religious at all until like maybe the last quarter of the book, and it's almost like the author forgot she was writing it, and then it was just in your face every chapter mentioning God and how grace and all of this. And I'm a Christian myself, but it was just very heavy-handed, where if it would have been sprinkled throughout, I don't think it would have been as like in your face as it turned out to be, because there was no mention of it, and then all of a sudden it was like in every chapter. A lot of things happened in this. It has to do with like a DNA test and not knowing your family, and there's murders, and there's deaths, and there's a lot of things that are good for it, like kept you intrigued. But I don't know a lot about these pin shells and this strand that comes off of them that you could make like sea silk and stuff. So it had me doing a lot of Googling, and I think I've like learned some things, and I want to watch a couple of videos about it. But that really had absolutely nothing to do with the actual plot. So it's interesting that there was that like backstory and I kind of learned a little something, but at the same time it had nothing to do with the plot. So I do think that they were trying to piece it together, like what was going on, who was after them, why these women were being attacked. But it just wasn't happening fast enough. There were a lot of modern day references, and I didn't like that because it kind of dates the work. But I mean, it didn't like bother me, but I just know like if I read this 20 years from now, that I probably wouldn't get some of the things that were written, or they would seem very outdated. So overall, I enjoyed it, but I definitely found faults in it as well. So 3 out of 5 stars. So I managed to read 2 books this weekend. First, I read Dear Sweet Pea, which it like took me out of my slump. This book just like gripped my heart and I read it so fast. I rated this 4 out of 5 stars, and the only reason I am knocking off a star is because I think that every single person was described in this book, and I think it was unnecessary. Other than that, I totally loved this. Then I read Colleen Coble's Strands of Truth just on a whim because I received it in the mail after I finished this, so it was like perfect timing type of thing. Marine biology and the pinch shell research was like, had nothing to do with the story, and there were lots of characters, but it mainly surrounded Harper and Ridge and Oliver and Annabelle. So yeah, 3 stars. I'm sure it'll be pretty forgettable other than the knowledge of the pin shell and the sea silk, because like I kind of learned something about that. But that's all for this weekend reading vlog. I'm so glad I finished 2 books because I've really been struggling lately. So thanks for coming on this journey with me this weekend. I hope you guys are having a great day, a great night. Let me know what you've been reading lately, and I'll see you guys again in another video very soon. Bye!